I'd like to tell you about the strangest secret in the world. Some years ago, the late Nobel Prize-winning Dr. Albert Schweitzer was being interviewed in London, and a reporter asked him, "Doctor, what's wrong with men today?" And the great doctor was silent a moment, and then he said, "Men simply don't think." It's about this that I want to talk with you. We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we pretty well take it for granted. We in America are particularly fortunate to live in the richest land that ever existed on the face of the earth, a land of abundant opportunity for everyone. But you know what happens? Well, let's take 100 men who start even at the age of 25. Do you have any idea what will happen to those men by the time they're 65? 100 men who all start even at the age of 25 believe they're going to be successful. If you ask any one of these men if he wanted to be a success, he'd tell you he did. And you'd notice that he was eager toward life, that there was a certain sparkle to his eye, an erectness to his carriage, and life seemed like a pretty interesting adventure to him. But by the time they're 65, 1 will be rich, 4 will be financially independent, 5 will still be working, 54 will be broke. Think a moment. Out of the 100, only 5 make the grade. Now, why do so many fail? What has happened to the sparkle that was there when they were 25? What's become of the dreams, the hopes, the plans? And why is there such a large disparity between what these men intended to do and what they actually accomplished? When we say about 5% achieve success, we have to define success. And here's the best definition I've ever been able to find. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If a man is working toward a predetermined goal and knows where he's going, that man is a success. If he's not doing that, he's a failure. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Rollo May, the distinguished psychiatrist, wrote a wonderful book called Man's Search for Himself. And in this book, he says, the opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It is conformity. The trouble today.
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to make money with Amazon in 2021 is not by
It's conformity, people acting like everyone else without knowing why, without knowing where they're going. Now think of it. In America right now, there are over 18 million people 65 years of age and older. And most of them are broke. They're dependent on someone else for life's necessities. Now, we learn to read by the time we're 7. We learn to make a living by the time we're 25. Usually by that time, we're not only making a living, we're supporting a family. And yet by the time we're 65, we haven't learned how to become financially independent in the richest land that has ever been known. Why? We conform. And the trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95 who don't succeed. Now, why do these people conform? Well, they really don't know. These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. They're outer-directed people. A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men working then, and these men were asked, why do you work? Why do you get up in the morning? 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, well, everyone goes to work in the morning, and that's the reason they do it, because everyone else is doing it. Now let's get back to our definition of success. Who succeeds? The only person who succeeds is the person who is progressively realizing a worthy ideal. It's the person who says, I'm going to become this, and then begins to work toward that goal. I'll tell you who the successful people are. A success is the school teacher who's teaching school because that's what he or she wants to do. The success is the woman who's a wife and mother because she wanted to become a wife and mother and is doing a good job of it. The success is the man who runs the corner gas station because that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. The success is the successful salesman who wants to become a top-notch salesman and grow and build with his organization. A success is anyone who is doing deliberately a predetermined job because that's what he decided to do deliberately. But only 1 out of 20 does that. That's why today there isn't really any competition unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. You know, for 20 years, I looked for the key which would determine what would happen to a human being. Was there a key I wanted to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to a large extent? Was there a key that would guarantee a person's becoming successful if he only knew about it and knew how to use it? Well, there is such a key, and I found it. Have you ever wondered why so many men work so hard and honestly without ever achieving anything in particular, and others don't seem to work hard and yet seem to get everything? They seem to have the magic touch. You've heard them say that about someone. Everything he touches turns to gold. And have you ever noticed that a man who becomes successful tends to continue to become successful? And on the other hand, have you noticed how a man who's a failure tends to continue to fail? Well, it's because of goals. Some of us have goals, some don't. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. It's that simple. Think of a ship leaving a harbor, and think of it with the complete voyage mapped out and planned. The captain and crew know exactly where it's going and how long it'll take. It has a definite goal. Now, 9,999 times out of 10,000, it will get to where it started out to get. Now let's take another ship, just like the first, only let's not put a crew on it or a captain at the helm. Let's give it no aiming point, no goal, no destination. We just start the engines and let it go. I think you'll agree with me that if it gets out of the harbor at all, it will either sink or wind up on some deserted beach, a derelict. It can't go anyplace because it has no destination and no guidance, and it's the same with a human being. Take the salesman, for example. There's no other person in the world today with the future of a good salesman. Selling is the world's highest paid profession, if we're good at it and if we know where we're going. Every company needs top-notch salesmen, and they reward those men, and the sky is the limit for them. But how many can you find? Someone once said the human race is fixed, not to prevent the strong from winning, but to prevent the weak from losing. The American economy today can be likened to a convoy in time of war. The entire economy is slowed down to protect its weakest link, just as the convoy had to go at the speed that would permit its slowest vessel to remain in formation. That's why it's so easy to make a living today. It takes no particular brains or talent to make a living and support a family today. So we have a plateau of so-called security, if that's what a person's looking for. But we do have to decide how high above this plateau.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how we built a $50 million coaching company with one
plateau we want to aim. Now let's get back to the strangest secret in the world, the story that I wanted to tell you today. Why do men with goals succeed in life and men without them fail? Well, let me tell you something which, if you really understand it, will alter your life immediately. If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. You will suddenly find that good luck just seems to be attracted to you. The things you want just seem to fall in line, and from now on you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. Doubt, fear, well, they'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now, let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It's only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this: everything comes if a man will only wait. I've brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: a man is what he thinks about all day long. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And he also said, we need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. It will become so knit with habit and emotion that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief. He also said, if you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things and wish them exclusively, and not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strongly. In the Bible, you read in Mark 9:23, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. My old friend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale put it this way: this is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. The great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, he went on to say, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity. Believe and succeed. Shakespeare put it this way: our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. George Bernard Shaw said, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. Well, it's pretty apparent, isn't it? And every person who discovered this for a while believed that he was the first one to work it out. We become what we think about. Now, it stands to reason that a person who's thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal is going to reach it, because that's what he's thinking about, and we become what we think about. Conversely, the man who has no goal, who doesn't know where he's going, and whose thoughts must therefore be thoughts of confusion and anxiety and fear and worry, becomes what he thinks about. His life becomes one of frustration and fear and anxiety and worry. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. Now, how does it work? Why do we become what we think about? Well, I'll tell you how it works as far as we know. Now, to do this, I want to tell you about a situation that parallels the human mind. Suppose the farmer has some land, and it's good fertile land. Now, the land gives the farmer a choice. He may plant in that land whatever he chooses. The land doesn't care. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. Now, remember, we're comparing the human mind with the land because the mind, like the land, doesn't care what you plant in it. It will return what you plant, but it doesn't care what you plant. Let's say that the farmer has two seeds in his hand. One is a seed of corn. The other is nightshade, a deadly poison. He digs two little holes in the earth and he plants both seeds, one corn, the other nightshade. He covers up the holes, waters, and takes care of the land, and what will happen? Invariably, the land will return what's planted. As it's written in the Bible, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Now remember, the land doesn't care. It'll return poison in just as wonderful abundance as it will corn. So up come the two plants, one corn, one poison. Now, the human mind is far more fertile, far more incredible and mysterious than the land, but it works the same way. It doesn't care what we plant. Success, failure. A concrete, worthwhile goal, or confusion. Misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, and so on. But what we plant, it must return to us. You see, the human mind is the last great unexplored continent on Earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant. Now, you might say, well, if that's true, why don't people use their minds more? Well, I think they figured out an answer to that one, too. Our mind comes as standard equipment at birth. It's free, and things that are given to us for nothing, we place little value on. Things that we pay money for, we value. The paradox is that exactly the reverse is true. Everything that's really worthwhile in life came to us free. Our minds, our souls, our bodies, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our love of family and children and friends and country, all these priceless possessions are free. But the things that cost us money are actually very cheap and can be replaced at any time. A good man can be completely wiped out and make another fortune. He can do that several times. Even if our home burns down, we can rebuild it. But the things we got for nothing, we can never replace. The human mind isn't used because we take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. It can do any kind of job we assign to it, but generally speaking, we use it for little jobs instead of big, important ones. Universities have proved that most of us are operating on about 10% or less of our abilities. So decide now, what is it you want? Plant your goal in your mind. It's the most important decision you'll ever make in your entire life. What is it you want? You want to be an outstanding salesman? A better worker at your particular job? You want to go places in your company, in your community? Do you want to get rich? All you've got to do is plant that seed in your mind.
If you're still trying to figure out how to start an online business or how to get people to actually buy from you over the internet, I have some really
And care for it, work steadily toward your goal, and it will become a reality. It not only will, there's no way that it cannot. You see, that's a law, like the laws of Sir Isaac Newton, the laws of gravity. If you get on top of a building and jump off, you'll always go down. You'll never go up. And it's the same with all the other laws of nature. They always work. They're inflexible. Think about your goal in a relaxed, positive way. Picture yourself in your mind's eye as having already achieved this goal. See yourself doing the things you will be doing when you've reached your goal. Ours has been called the phenobarbital age, the age of ulcers and nervous breakdowns and tranquilizers. At a time when medical research has raised us to a new plateau of good health and longevity, far too many of us worry ourselves into an early grave trying to cope with things in our own little personal ways without learning a few great laws that will take care of everything for us. These things we bring on ourselves through our habitual way of thinking. Every one of us is the sum total of his own thoughts. He is where he is because that's exactly where he really wants to be, whether he'll admit that or not. Each of us must live off the fruit of his thoughts in the future, because what you think today and tomorrow, next month and next year, will mold your life and determine your future. You're guided by your mind. I remember one time I was driving through eastern Arizona and I saw one of those giant earth-moving machines roaring along the road at about 35 miles an hour with what looked like 30 tons of dirt in it. A tremendous, incredible machine. And there was a little man perched way up on top with the wheel in his hands guiding it. And as I drove along, I was struck by the similarity of that machine to the human mind. Just suppose you're sitting at the controls of such a vast source of energy. Are you going to sit back and fold your arms and let it run itself into a ditch? Or are you going to keep both hands firmly on the wheel and control and direct this power to a specific, worthwhile purpose? It's up to you. You're in the driver's seat. You see, the very law that gives us success is a two-edged sword. We must control our thinking. The same rule that can lead a man to a life of success, wealth, happiness, and all the things he ever dreamed of for himself and his family. That very same law can lead him into the gutter. It's all in how he uses it, for good or for bad. This is the strangest secret in the world. Now, why do I say it's strange, and why do I call it a secret? Actually, it isn't a secret at all. It was first promulgated by some of the earliest wise men, and it appears again and again throughout the Bible, but very few people have learned it, understand it. That's why it's strange, and why for some equally strange reason it virtually remains a secret. I believe that you could go out and walk down the main street of your town and ask one man after another what the secret of success is, and you probably wouldn't run into one man in a month who could tell you. Now, this information is enormously valuable to us if we really understand it and apply it. It's valuable to us not only for our own lives, but the lives of those around us, our families, employees, associates, and friends. Life should be an exciting adventure. It should never be a bore. A man should live fully, be alive. He should be glad to get out of bed in the morning. He should be doing a job he likes to do because he does it well. One time I drove Patterson, the great late editor-in-chief of the Toledo Daily Blade, make a speech, and as he concluded his speech, he said something I've never forgotten. He said, "My years in the newspaper business have convinced me of several things. Among them, that people are basically good, and that we came from someplace, and we're going someplace. So we should make our time here an exciting adventure. The architect of the universe didn't build a stairway leading nowhere." Teacher of all, the carpenter from the plains of Galilee gave us the secret time and time again. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. I've explained the strangest secret in the world and how it works. Now on this side, I want to explain how you can prove to yourself the enormous returns possible in your own life by putting this secret to a practical test. I want you to make a test that will last 30 days. It isn't going to be easy, but if you'll give it a good try, it will completely change your life for the better. Now, back in the 17th century, Sir Isaac Newton, the English mathematician and natural philosopher, gave us some natural laws of physics which apply as much to human beings as they do to the movement of bodies in the universe. And one of these laws is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Simply stated, as it applies to you and me, it means we can achieve nothing without paying the price. The results of your 30-day experiment will be in direct proportion to the effort you put forth. To be a doctor, you must pay the price of long years of difficult study. To be successful in selling, and remember that each of us succeeds to the extent of his ability to sell. Selling our families on our ideas, selling education in schools, selling our children on the advantages of living the good and honest life, selling our associates and employees on the importance of being exceptional people. To, of course, the profession of selling itself. But to be successful in selling our way to the good life, we must be willing to pay the price. And what is that price? Well, it's many things. First, it's understanding emotionally as well as intellectually that we literally become what we think about, that we must control our thoughts if we're to control our lives. It's understanding fully that as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Second, it's cutting away all fetters from the mind and permitting it to soar as it was divinely designed to do. It's the realization that your limitations are self-imposed and that the opportunities for you today are enormous beyond belief. It's rising above narrow-minded pettiness and prejudice. And third, it's using all your courage to force yourself to think positively on your own problem, to set a definite and clearly defined goal for yourself, to let your marvelous mind think about your goal from all possible angles, to let your imagination speculate freely upon many different possible solutions, to refuse to believe that there are any circumstances sufficiently strong to defeat you in the accomplishment of your purpose, to act promptly and decisively when your course is clear, and to keep constantly aware of the fact that you are at this moment standing in the middle of your own acres of diamonds, as Russell Conwell used to point out. And fourth, save at least 10% of every dollar you earn. It's also remembering that no matter what your present job, it has enormous possibilities if you're willing to pay the price. Now let's just go over the important points in the price each of us must pay to achieve the wonderful life that can be ours. It is, of course, worth any price. 1, you will become what you think about. 2, remember the word imagination and let your mind begin to soar. 3, courage. Concentrate on your goal every day. 4, save 10% of what you earn. And 5, action. Ideas are worthless unless we act on them. Now, try to outline the 30-day test I want you to make. Keep in mind that you have nothing to lose by making this test and everything you could possibly want to gain. There are 2 things that may be said of everyone. Each of us wants something, and each of us is afraid.
This unusual yantra made me $11,000 in
Of something. I want you to write on a card what it is you want more than anything else. It may be more money. Perhaps you'd like to double your income or make a specific amount of money. It may be a beautiful home. It may be success at your job. It may be a particular position in life. It could be a more harmonious family. Each of us wants something. Now write down on your card specifically what it is you want. Make sure it's a single goal and clearly defined. You needn't show it to anyone, but carry it with you so that you can look at it several times a day. Think about it in a cheerful, relaxed, positive way each morning when you get up. And immediately you have something to work for, something to get out of bed for, something to live for. Look at it every chance you get during the day and just before going to bed at night. And as you look at it, remember that you must become what you think about. And since you're thinking about your goal, you realize that soon it will be yours. In fact, it's yours really the moment you write it down and begin to think about it. Look at the abundance all around you as you go about your daily business. You have as much right to this abundance as any other living creature. It's yours for the asking. Now we come to the difficult part. Difficult because it means the formation of what is probably a brand new habit, and new habits are not easily formed. Once formed, however, it will follow you for the rest of your life. Stop thinking about what it is you fear. Each time a fearful or negative thought comes into your consciousness, replace it with a mental picture of your positive and worthwhile goal. And there will come times when you'll feel like giving up. It's easier for a human being to think negatively than positively. That's why only 5% are successful. You must begin now to place yourself in that group. For 30 days, you must take control of your mind. It will think about only what you permit it to think about. Each day for this 30-day test, do more than you have to do. In addition to maintaining a cheerful, positive outlook, give of yourself more than you've ever done before. Do this knowing that your returns in life must be in direct proportion to what you give. The moment you decide on a goal to work toward, you're immediately a successful person. You are then in that rare and successful category of people who know where they're going. Out of every 100 people, you belong to the top 5. Don't concern yourself too much with how you're going to achieve your goal. Leave that completely to a power greater than yourself. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord and at the right time. Remember these words from the Sermon on the Mount, and remember them well. Keep them constantly before you this month of your test. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. It's as marvelous and as simple as that. In fact, it's so simple that in our seemingly complicated world, it's difficult for an adult to understand that all he needs is a purpose and faith. For 30 days, do your very best. Salesman, go at it as you've never done before, not in a hectic fashion, but with the calm, cheerful assurance that time well spent will give you the abundance in return you deserve and want. If you're a homemaker, devote your 30-day test to completely giving of yourself without thinking about receiving anything in return, and you'll be amazed at the difference it makes in your life. No matter what your job, do it as you've never done it before for 30 days. And if you've kept your goal before you every day, you'll wonder and marvel at this new life you've found. Dorothea Brand, the outstanding editor and writer, discovered it for herself and tells about it in her fine book, Wake Up and Live. Her entire philosophy is reduced to the words, act as though it were impossible to fail. She made her own test with sincerity and faith, and her entire life was changed to one of overwhelming success. Now, you make your test for 30 full days. Don't start your test until you've made up your mind to stick with it. You see, by being persistent, you're demonstrating faith. Persistence is simply another word for faith. If you didn't have faith, you'd never persist. If you should fail during your first 30 days, by that I mean suddenly find yourself overwhelmed by negative thoughts, you've got to start over again from that point and go 30 more days. Gradually, your new habit will form until you find yourself one of that wonderful minority to whom virtually nothing is impossible. And don't forget the card. It's vitally important as you begin this new way of living. On one side of the card, write your goal, whatever it may be. On the other side, write the words we've quoted from the Sermon on the Mount. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Nothing great was ever accomplished without inspiration. See that during these crucial first 30 days, your own inspiration is kept at a peak. And above all, don't worry. Worry brings fear, and fear is crippling. The only thing that can cause you to worry during your test is trying to do it all yourself. Know that all you have to do is hold your goal before you. Everything else will take care of itself. Remember also to keep calm and cheerful. Don't let petty things annoy you and get you off course. Now, since making this test is difficult, some will say, why should I bother? Well, look at the alternative. No one wants to be a failure. No one really wants to be a mediocre individual. No one wants a life constantly filled with worry and fear and frustration. Therefore, remember that you must reap that which you sow. If you sow negative thoughts, your life will be filled with negative things. If you sow positive thoughts, your life will be cheerful, successful, and positive. Now, gradually, you'll have a tendency to forget what you've heard on this recording. Play it often. Keep reminding yourself of what you must do to form this new habit. Gather your whole family around at regular intervals and listen to what's been said here. You know, most men will tell you that they want to make money without understanding the law. The only people who make money work in a mint. The rest of us must earn money. This is what causes those who keep looking for something for nothing or a free ride to fail in life. The only way to earn money is by providing people with services or products which are needed and useful. We exchange our time and our product or service for the other man's money. Therefore, the law is that our financial return will be in direct proportion to our service. Now, success is not the result of making money. Making money is the result of success, and success is in direct proportion to our service. Most people have this law backwards. They believe that you're successful if you earn a lot of money. The truth is that you can only earn money after you're successful. It's like the story of the man who sat in front of the stove and said to it, give me heat, and then I'll add the wood. How many men and women do you know, or do you suppose there are today, who take the same attitude toward life? There are millions. We've got to put the fuel in before we can expect heat. Likewise, we've got to be of service first before we can expect money. Don't concern yourself with the money. Be of service, build, work, dream, create. Do this and you'll find there's no limit to the prosperity and abundance that will come to you. Prosperity, you know, is founded upon a law of mutual exchange. Any person who contributes to prosperity must prosper in turn himself. Sometimes the return will not come from those you serve, but it must come to you from someplace, because that's the law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. As you go daily through your 30-day test period, remember that your success will always be measured by the quality and quantity of service you render, and money is a yardstick for measuring this service. No man can get rich himself unless he enriches others. No exceptions to a law. You can drive down any street in America and from your car estimate the service that's being rendered by the people living on that street. Have you ever thought of this yardstick before? It's interesting. Some, like ministers and priests and other devoted people, measure their returns in the realm of the spiritual, but again, their returns are equal to their service. Once this law is fully understood, any thinking person can tell his own fortune. If he wants more, he must be of more service to those from whom he receives his return. If he wants less, he has only to reduce his service. This is the price you must pay for what you want. If you believe you can enrich yourself by deluding others, you can end only by deluding yourself. It may take some time, but just as surely as you breathe, you'll get back what you put out. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking you can avert this. It's impossible. The prisons and the streets where the lonely walk are filled with people who've tried to make new laws just for themselves. We may avoid the laws of man for a while, but there are greater laws that cannot be broken. An outstanding medical doctor recently pointed out 6 steps that will help you realize success. 1, set yourself a definite goal. 2, quit running yourself down. 3, stop thinking of all the reasons why you cannot be successful and instead think of all the reasons why you can. 4, your attitudes back through your childhood and try to discover where you first got the idea you couldn't be successful, if that's the way you've been thinking. 5, change the image you have of yourself by writing out a description of the person you would like to be. And 6, act the part of the successful person you have decided to become. The doctor who wrote those words is a noted West Coast psychiatrist, Dr. David Harold Fink. Do what the experts since the dawn of recorded history have told you you must do. Pay the price by becoming the person you want to become. It's not nearly as difficult as living unsuccessfully. Make your 30-day test, then repeat it again. And each time it will become more a part of you until you'll wonder how you could ever have lived any other way. Live this new way and the floodgates of abundance will open and pour over you more riches than you may have dreamed existed. Money? Yes, lots of it. But what's more important, you'll have peace. You'll be in that wonderful minority who lead calm, cheerful, successful lives. Start today. You have nothing to lose, but you have a whole life to win. This is Earl Nightingale, and thank you.
It's crazy how many women bank on OnlyFans these days, working just a few hours per day and living the life of their dreams.
Welcome, my friends.
Being the motivation.
I mean, you know, we got to start off with the right people. With the right people.
Man, that was amazing.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes. But
thank you, Mama Grace. Thank you, Mama Grace, for helping me.
I know that's right. The strangest secret. Yes, yes.
Man, that's Tony. That's the same thing you were saying last night, man.
Same thing, man. The same thing. The same thing.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
Antonio.
Yes, sir.
In 1972 or 73, I spent some time with Earl Nightingale.
Wow.
Picked him up at the airport, took him to the speaking engagement, took him back, got him in his hotel. And one of the things he said to me, he says, Phil, do you know it's un-American to buy an American car?
Mm.
This was in 72 or 73 when we had the gas crisis, when we were literally, you could only go to the gas station if your license plate was an odd number. There were certain days you could go, and then if it was an even number, you could go to the gas station on that. So that's the environment we were in. And I said, Mr. Nightingale, why is that? He says, well, Detroit is making junk, planned obsolescence. So if we keep voting for junk with our dollars, they'll keep making junk. The only way we'll get Detroit to change is to quit voting for junk and buy foreign cars because they're better made than American cars at this point in time. So this was in 19. So I had the honor to spend some time with him. You can go to YouTube and he's got a series called Direct Line, which are 36 separate episodes that you can download and you can listen to for free. Called Direct Line, Earl Nightingale YouTube, and there's 36 different programs there that you can listen to and get his wisdom. He was an amazing man, absolutely incredible guy.
Absolutely. I had no idea about Direct Line, but I tell you what, yep, there it is. Just found it. Well, there it is right here. Okay, well, all parts. There it is, 35 videos. Now, 100% facts about Detroit, because the reason why Tesla is worth more than all the car companies combined, because their cars don't lose value. It's the truth. It is the absolute truth. This is Think and Grow Rich. I believe it's been 2 years since I have revisited teaching Think and Grow Rich. I have made sure. Has it been 2 years, Tempest? I feel like it's been 2 years. I don't remember doing it last year. Okay, it's been 2 years. And here we go. And this is by design. Yeah, because Reggie and Deanna taught for a full year. This is by design. I've made sure that 90% of the information will not repeat. And I've made sure that this is the way I want it to be. I will say this. After Mexit said brand has split, Arshia, it has. This is on Antonio T. Smith Jr. side. So I really, really, really am not going to explain myself at all. I'm expecting you, D, to be something that you were born to be. Tonight, Lavon, we're talking about big picture. You can keep your camera on. You can keep your camera off. The only thing I ask you to do is to use your voice, because said next 26 weeks, 20, maybe 36 weeks are extremely interactive, because it's making a face, because Tempest understands that we are getting ready to do great things. This is week 1. We're going to do the big picture. Every week I'm going to go super big and then super local, super big, super local, super big, super local. You do need a copy of Think and Grow Rich. You don't have, it doesn't matter which copy you get. It just matters that you have a copy. And if you cannot afford it, Think and Grow Rich is so old now, came out in 1937. It is actually available on the internet due to copyright laws have been expired unless you have a newer version. There you go. That being said, let's play. If I had to sum up Think and Grow Rich, it is the exact summary in which you think I would say. I'm going to count the sentences. I'm going to count the words, Grace. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 words. I can sum up Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Please write that down. That's really Think and Grow Rich in a nutshell. It really is. Now, sure, people can come up with better 10 words, and they wouldn't be incorrect, because Think and Grow Rich has created more than 100,000 millionaires. I'm just trying to create 100,000. That's like less than 10% of what Think and Grow Rich has actually created. Napoleon Hill was the first Antonio T. Smith Jr. as far as creating millionaires, okay? There's no doubt about it. And Napoleon Hill did this. Napoleon Hill, in the middle of the greatest recession, greatest depression possible, told people Think and Grow Rich when they did not have no food. Can you imagine that? Being 6 years old, working at a toy factory, a car factory, to make 25 cents in a day, and you're getting told Think and Grow Rich. It's amazing. Go ahead, Phil.
You know the story behind him writing Think and Grow Rich?
No, I do not.
Andrew Carnegie, the steel baron, believed that there are basic principles for success. So he found this young trainer, sales trainer. That's what Napoleon Hill was. He was a sales trainer.
Right.
And he says, I will give you access to Henry Ford, John David Rockefeller, Theodore Roosevelt, William Jennings Bryan, Clarence Darrow, Alexander Graham Bell, all these successful people, because they will return your phone calls if you say, I told them to call you. And I want you to write a book based on the principle for success. And I can just imagine the conversations that Napoleon Hill says, well, let me see here, my expenses, and if I take this, and if I do this, and here's how much money I need. And Andrew Carnegie said, I'm not going to give you any money. You're going to fund this project by doing sales training and doing the book in connection with that.
I bought a version of Think and Grow Rich that told me a little bit about that. That is amazing that he did that. And didn't he give him 1 minute to decide if he was going to do it, Phil? Isn't that right?
It could have been. I don't remember that.
Okay, I don't remember.
It was 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, I remember. I know it was something like that. And is that Brother Henry?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I like your name. Yeah, I recognize the voice. I recognize the voice. Now, for the rest of the class, follow me. Get out your vibration. Let's all match Napoleon Hill's vibration. Okay. In 10 words, Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Don't you remember that one time you wanted something and you would not be denied? Don't you remember? Before people told you you would break your arm if you keep jumping out that bed, you were invincible? Don't you remember that you thought you could be a princess even though you were born in Texas? Don't you remember that you literally thought $20 was $1 million when you got it as a kid? It is amazing how the mind changes over years. I remember getting $1 and getting high off candy. Am I the only one? In fact, I'll be more specific. I remember getting $1, running to the corner store during the commercial break of Michael Jackson biopic. I wish I had somebody that remembered the 80s. Getting a bunch of sour powers, some airheads, some lemon heads, and Funyuns. No, not Funyuns. Pork rinds. And had 50 to 60 cents left over. And I had 50 to 60 cents left over. I remember. But over the years, my standards and my imagination, it changed. Now, here you are 50, 30, 40, and what used to make you happy no longer fits the bill. Don't you remember? I wish I had somebody. I'm going to walk all hard for a few minutes. Don't you remember praying for where you are right now? And now where you are is not good enough. Think about it. How many of you asked God, please give me a car? Now you're not satisfied with the car you get. Come on, brother. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Right. God, give me a husband. Now your husband get on your nerves. God, send me a mate, and you left that whole mate. We have a tendency as human beings. Do you hear me, Grace? To doubt what we have and create more doubt. And Napoleon Hill, Levon, is attempting to rectify such doubts. What if I told you that you can have whatever you want? What if I told you that if you have it in your heart you can get it. But in the 21st century, they call that prosperity preaching.
I will believe you.
Well, what I just did was quote two scriptures in the New Testament and the Old Testament, and I snuck it in on you. You can have whatever you want. Nothing is impossible. Mark 9:23, by the way, with God. You can have whatever you want right now if you got it in your heart. Delight yourselves. Can somebody finish that for me? I need an old Baptist Christian.
Watch yourself, sir,
Delight yourself.
in the Lord.
Watch yourself. And
He will give you the
the
desire
desire.
of your heart.
Thank you so much, Grace, for being born and raised Baptist. I just snuck into you two scriptures, but the way I said it would make you accuse me of prosperity preaching. It's the truth, Brother Green. If you just put in your heart something, God says you can have it. Can I give you a story? Louis the 14th, French king, was so magnanimous. This isn't a true story. This is a historicity. This is what happened. Louis the 14th was so magnanimous that he decided in his kingdom he would have what he called spectacles. He built the biggest castle and hired the most people. Let's get my chair back. When Louis the 14th woke up, Grace, he sat up, stretched his arm out, and somebody put on the right side of his shirt. Stretched his arm out, somebody put on the left side of the shirt. I'm dead serious. Then, stand up, put his leg out, okay, with my spring colors, and somebody put on the right leg of his pants, and then put his leg out, Grace, and somebody put on the left leg of his pants, which historicity, where you get the phrase, you put your pants on one leg at a time as me. Because Louis the 14th did not. If you didn't know where that came from, I just taught you a history lesson. Louis the 14th did not put
really
on.
No, you really did. Because I don't like when people say that, because I'm thinking, do I do it the same way? How do you know?
Louis the 14th did not put his pants on, one leg at a time. Okay, you gotta unmute your mic, Mr. Gray, so we can hear you. Think about it, y'all. Did not put on his pants one leg at a time. And what I'm trying to tell you is, Grace, Louis the 14th thought somebody else ought to get me dressed, and that's what happened. Cause if it's in your heart, God will make it come to reality. Your mind will make it reality. Right now, I ain't said nothing, Arshia, but 10 words. Just 10 words. I ain't even start talking yet. 10 words. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I'm not paraphrasing that. That's an actual quote of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, before I continue with the main point of this Think and Grow Rich ain't supposed to be no lecture, because you didn't show up for no lecture. This next 30-something weeks is a dialogue. Now, I need somebody that's not afraid to disagree and say, you know what? I hear you, but I done thought about not being broke, and I ain't got it. I need somebody real. I need somebody real. I done thought about being married, and I ain't married. I wish I had somebody. I need to. I thought
You
my
got it.
mortgage.
You got it. You
Come
got
on
it.
now.
You got it.
I thought my mortgage was gonna be paid off. It ain't paid off. I said I was gonna be retired by the time I'm 30. I'm still working at Office Depot. I wish I had. I just need somebody to disagree with whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. That's all right. Because you're not disagreeing with me. You just saying, I don't see that. Who's brave enough? I need somebody brave enough. I need a regular folk. Ain't nobody brave enough. That's how y'all gonna do.
Nah, you're right. You know, yeah.
Well,
There are some things that you said up in there. I'm not gonna tell
Right.
you which one, but
Grace, do you want to be married?
yes, I do.
Have you been thinking about getting married?
Yeah,
Has it happened yet?
yeah,
Does that bother you?
a little bit.
How much is a little bit? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the greatest, 1 being the least.
4.
Oh, you ain't gonna marry yet. You ain't got to be at a 10. But if you don't care, you ain't got enough strong emotion. Now, if you got strong emotion, but you in a 4 of, you know what? If you do it or don't, that's a different thing. Because that's law of allowing. So do you want to be married or do you not care if you marry?
I care. I mean, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. You know.
That might be a good state to be, Grace. That might be a good state. The jury's still out on that. D, your phone breaking up. D, I mean your reception breaking up. That might be a good state to be in, Grace, because typically when you have this, it's all good. God, if you bless me, I'm with you. I wish I had somebody that know about Daniel chapter 3. If you don't bless me, I'm good too. But I will not bow, King. All right, that's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Nobody but Adrian know what I'm talking about, okay? Nobody but Adrian know what I'm talking about. That's that Nebuchadnezzar golden statue. But I'm not trying to bother nobody, okay? I'm not trying to bother nobody. But that happens to be 3, 17, 18, 19. But anywho, all right, now think about this. Grace says she want to be married. You married, Grace?
Nope.
All right, so we're gonna say she don't want to be. Who got something that you actually wanted and you didn't get? All right, come on, Adrian. I know you're gonna keep. I need some goon realness around here, Adrian. Can you help me out? Because everybody want to be saved. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I need somebody to say, God got me up. I need somebody. I need somebody like me.
Just a tad bit. I'm gonna tell you because I did pray. I did pray.
Talk to me, man.
I did pray for it because I thought that's what I needed. Because that's what I don't know. I did pray for it, but now I got it, and now I'm like, I don't understand.
Okay, I got you. Let me. I got you. Let me start off the realness. Because don't nobody want to be real with me. I don't know why y'all. Okay, let me start off the realness. 2012, Tempest and myself, we planted a church. That's 9 years ago. And we gave it, Tempest, did we give it everything we had?
Everything.
Did we suffer, shipwrecked suffer for the Lord?
We suffered.
Did your car get repossessed?
Yes, it did.
Did my car get repossessed?
Yes, it did.
How many times, Tempest, to your knowledge?
You or both of us?
Both of us combined.
Both of us combined, I think we lost 6 cars.
I lost 3. Tempest lost 3. And we planted a church. And God had me.
No. You lost 4.
Oh, that's right. I lost 4.
2.
She lost 2. I lost 4. And God had me all the way messed up. So y'all don't want to keep it real with me. Now here I am, Lord. I remember missing a speaking engagement, a preaching engagement. I remember. Tell them why, Tempest. Tell them why. Tell them why. Just tell them why, Tempest. Go ahead.
So say the first part again.
I remember missing a preaching engagement in Houston because
we couldn't afford to get there.
I couldn't afford to spread God's word. Oh, y'all don't want to play with me, man. That's $20, Chris Green. $20. Do you know how broke you got to be, Frida, for $20 to set you back?
I will certainly do.
See, y'all so saved.
Considering when you get there, you're gonna get the love offering, you're gonna be all right.
I couldn't even make
it. Get there.
Do you understand how embarrassed you are when a church full of people are waiting on you on evening church and the preacher don't even show up because he can't afford to drive 40 miles. See, y'all not gonna play with me, but I'm gonna play with me, Brother Henry. I'm gonna play with me. I don't mind embarrassing myself, Frida.
Go ahead, man.
Because I ain't came here to look good. I came here to actually be good. And here I am, Adrian, doing all this good stuff, and my lights cut off. And I love the Lord. Oh, Levon, you know what? I'm just talking to Tanya. Tanya, I'm just talking to Tanya, man. I'm just talking to Tanya. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Can you... Preacher got to be at evening church, but can't afford to get an evening. I was too embarrassed, Levon, to tell him I couldn't make it. I don't know what pastor did. I just know I never showed up, never got invited back again.
I called. I didn't let you go out like that.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I was too embarrassed, and she was too embarrassed to tell me she called. Think about that, y'all. Thank you, Arshia, because God had me all the way messed up. Here I am serving you, and you can't give me $20. How do you handle it, Chris Green, when you're stuck between the resurrection and Pentecost? Okay, let me say it a different way. I'm gonna say it a different way to catch everybody up. How do you handle it when all your dreams been nailed to a cross and you didn't get the feeling of the giver of life? Oh, I ain't got past these 10 words, Grace. Can you handle the point of your life where people who's supposed to love you, who look like you, who praise the same God as you, who are the same color as you, nail your dreams to a cross? Because if you inside the will of God, you will be crucified by other people, Frida. I dare you to disagree. I dare you to, if you inside the will of God, you will be crucified by other people.
And normally it's the ones close to you.
You understand, Mr. Green. They sit on the same pew, Arshia.
Yeah.
Same pew. How do you handle it when other folk, Levon, so you got a dream? Nail that dream to a cross. That's crucifixion. That's resurrection that you don't even benefit from. How
the Bible says that.
No, go ahead.
The Bible says that a man's worst enemy is in his own house.
Well, that hurts.
That's the ones close to you. That's the ones close.
That's my only response right there. How do you handle it, Phil, when you're between the crucifixion and you ain't got to Pentecost yet? take it out of church talk. How do you handle it when your dreams have been shattered and you ain't got to your breakthrough?
Yep.
Jaquita, I need somebody. I need somebody that's gonna keep it real with me, because ain't
You
nobody.
gotta snatch it back.
Well, ain't nobody trying to hear if you think it, you're gonna be better when you hurting with all that pain. Come on, Phil.
Well, you've heard me say this before. No holes in my hands, no holes in my feet, no thorns in my skull.
Wow.
No spear in my heart.
Talk, sir.
And he still said, forgive him.
I only talk about 10 words, Grace. My 10 words are as follows. The theme of Think and Grow Rich is whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But you know what, D? God wouldn't give me $20 to go spread God's word.
Yeah, he would have had me messed up that day.
What?
Now I got a question. Because you saying that God wouldn't let you do it. Is that God wouldn't let you do it, or that your pride wouldn't let you ask for the damn money to get to where you need to get?
Let me tell you something. That's a good question. Here's how I processed it. God, I did everything I could. Ain't no tithes in the church. And I don't know nobody that can give me $20. I pray this Sunday you help me get some gas money. Sunday offering, $2.13. I'll never forget it. I never forget. Tempest, tell him I ain't lying.
That is facts. That is facts.
Did you ever think that maybe it was for your own good that you didn't go?
It was for my own good in 2021, but in 2012, God had me messed up.
I have to tell you that 1, 2, 3 is like a number to me that is like so good. So for all of that, and you had $2.13, I'm sitting there just thinking like, oh my God, that was a blessing. You just didn't even know it.
It's a blessing in 2020. It's a blessing in 2021. But I need y'all to know, in it, God let me down. See, we got it. I'm not telling you. I am telling you. I'm telling you, God had me messed up that day. How you gonna let a preacher down that believe in you? I'm just trying to get you to stop being so sanctified. Because I've been mad at God before. I've been to the point where I said, God, just take me out of here. Because I'm tired of struggling. I ain't always been Antonio T. Smith Jr. I was Rev Tony, broke as hell, praising the Lord. And I couldn't even afford toilet paper every 2 weeks. I'm not lying. Toilet paper was $4.44 at Walgreens. And I remember going to apartment A to my Jehovah Witness neighbor and asking for a roll of toilet paper just so I could come up with $5. And she had the audacity to give me single ply. I can't make this up if I tried, Grace. I cannot make this up. Who buys single ply toilet paper? But it's all I had. And I couldn't tell the wife, and I couldn't tell the one child at the time, Daddy can't afford toilet paper. And here is Napoleon Hill talking about whatever a man can think, conceive, and believe he can achieve. Well, I believe in God, and I'm broke. Somebody fix it. I need somebody to help me out in this place. How do you handle it? When you're between the crucifixion and you ain't got to the breakthrough of the Holy Spirit. Can you see those 11 brothers? Can you see them? One of them done killed himself. 11 of them is present. One of them is absent. They are scared of Jaquitas who look like Jaquita. It's in there. It's in. It's. I'm just trying to invoke a sacred text that makes some sense. It says, "And the Jews were locked in the door, fear of other Jews." That's what it says. And then Jesus appears and said, "Peace be unto you." Not even using the door. Now, can you imagine, Levon, being scared of the same folk who said, "Thank you, God," with you last Sunday or Saturday in this case? And then what happened was nothing. I feel more relatable to Thomas than I feel to anybody. Let me tell you why, Tanya. Because you actually on the battlefield right now. Thomas and the disciples, but specifically Arshia, Thomas, Didymus by name, Adrian, gave up 2.5 to 3 years of his whole life. Because in order to follow the rabbi, Brother Henry, in order, this ain't no Christian thing. I'm trying to get you to understand something. In order to follow their Antonio, they had to give up all they had, tyranny. For 2.5, 3 years, Antonio said, "Tempest, I'm gonna make you a queen." Oh, y'all don't want to play with me. Tyranny? Imagine seeing Antonio read minds, which happens. Imagine seeing Antonio have powers, which happens. Imagine seeing these things that Antonio does, believing that it's going to pay off soon. You left your spouse, you left your friends, you left your freedom, you left sanctified, you left sanctity, you left security, all of that. And then people in 3 days, 2 days, nailed all your sacrifice for 900 days, Michelle, to the cross. And now, the man you followed, Stradivari, for 3 years is dead. Nah, you're gonna have to see, Brother Green, we like putting diamonds on the cross today. But the first Good Friday was not good at all. With no damn diamonds on the cross. It was blood on it. Okay. All right. Okay. You're just making me walk harder. That's all you're doing. All you're doing is making me walk even harder. It wasn't no diamonds on that cross. And those guys gave up their whole life because they believed and conceived the thought and did not achieve what God said they was going to get. How do you handle it, Frida? When God stopped acting like God.
Reverend.
Look, I'm about to knock the gristle off this bone. Cause y'all so saved. There's a text. Let me hold on real quick. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up because I need y'all. It's fun bringing up these Christian examples. It's fun, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this here. I need you to get that there are times when God in the Bible did not act like God, Michelle. And don't you come here, Brother Henry, acting like God always act like God in your life. Because we talking about Think and Grow Rich, the big picture. I need you to get, the reason I'm doing this, Tempest, because Think and Grow Rich was in the middle of folk dying of starvation in America. Okay, Tierney, between you and Tanya, y'all the only folk, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna catch this here. Because it's yeah. Who's that? Who's that? You got static on you. Heard somebody. Okay. Think about this for a second, y'all. I want you, let's play a game. We're gonna play a game, Tempest, because somebody disagrees that God don't be acting like God all the time. Let's go with it. It's Matthew chapter 15. Traditions and commandments, blah. What defiles a person, blah. Doesn't matter for this example. Everybody, you know what? I'll tell you what. All y'all come here. If you can, cut your camera on unless you're in your bra or your drawers. Don't do that. If you're on the toilet, don't do that. It's late at night. just keep that off camera, okay? Just do me. You can cut your camera off in a little bit. I promise you, you can cut your camera off in about 5 minutes. Okay, good to see you, Wendell. You can cut your whole camera off in 5 minutes. Just come here and give me your full attention so I can show you that Napoleon Hill said that you can believe and conceive and achieve, and he was right. But he said it at a time, Arshia, when God wasn't acting like God. So the next time you hear this, I need you to hear this all the way. God dog it, you pay damn attention. Because let me show you a great example of when God is on that bull. You ain't like that. I know you ain't like that. I ain't too much of a Christian, so I'm going to just keep on going anyway. Let me show you an example. When God stopped acting like God, Adrian. Let me show you. Because this is how Napoleon Hill is talking. Faith of a Canaanite woman. Canaanite has nothing to do with Hebrew. And Jesus went away. Is Jesus, Adrian, unmute your mic for a second. Just for a second. I like talking to you Christians. I like messing with y'all. Is Jesus God?
On the earth, yes.
And in heaven. You can't have Christianity without either. You can't be a Christian without thinking Jesus is God.
You're right.
So, okay, there you go. All right, so check this out. And Jesus went away from there and withdrew from Tyre, which is a coastal area, in Sidon, coastal area. And behold, there was a heathen Canaanite woman from the region that came out and was crying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David." Stop right there. It was a heathen, Michelle Black, that knew the church talk. This is what that looks like today. Oh, Pastor, oh, blessed thou feet, help me in my time of despair. It's basically what this Canaanite woman said. No, 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 no. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Have mercy.
Yo,
My
Jesus messed up
daughter.
on this one.
Bruh.
Jesus messed up on this one.
Jesus out of line, Grace.
Out of line on this one. Yes.
Out of line.
I still get mad every time I see it.
Out of line, Grace.
Keep going. I'm gonna mute my mic.
This whole text is disturbing. But he did not answer her a word. His disciple, look, Jesus help me. Jesus front on her. Fall back game strong, Arshia. Y'all don't want to fool with me. Send her away. Now, hold on, God. Now, first of all, don't be shooing me. For she is crying. You got doggone right. I'm crying out for you. He answered, I was sent here for the lost sheep of my own people. You ain't one of my people. But she said, look, Adrian, you misunderstood. She's misunderstood. She said, listen, man, I feel you, but help me, Lord. And okay, let me. If I can just talk to my folk with anger problems, just for a second. If you have an anger problem, would you please? Okay, I got one present. Okay, Talia got two. No, come on, keep it real, because I was trying to let y'all make
put us in a small group. Shit, we gonna work that out.
You understand, okay?
Stradivari got an anger problem.
Okay,
like they call me like the bully, so I got that.
I need my folk got an anger problem, and if you talk to me crazy in public, I'm gonna knock your ass out. I need these folk. Who is these folk?
That'll be me, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. I need to talk to
I'm angry at Jesus right now. What? Okay.
Okay. So now that we got the whole right side of the phone call, okay, let's just process for a moment that Jesus disrespected this lady. And then she ain't say nothing. Now, how many of y'all like me? I'm gonna let you make it once. But what we not gonna do, come on, you know the rest of that. I need some real folk. I need some, I'm gonna just lean back all the way back in my chair.
All right.
We having a circus, Grace. Now, I walked away once. Don't run after me, Adrian. I'm liable to knock your bleepity bleep out. Do you understand? Is anybody else that come from Menard Park like me, except
But
for
see, if they go behind it, if they run after you, they have asked for this. Somebody told me I was supposed to walk away.
I was trying not to knock you out, but you asked for these hands.
Right.
And try Jesus, don't try me. Basically, is what my man Toby said. Yes, that great philosopher with the gold teeth. Okay, so now that we understand, pay attention, come here. Because Jaquita, what I need you to get is Jesus is out of line. And she was real humble with swag though, Tyranny. She gave the church talk. She was humble. Now watch this here. But she said, listen, after you disrespected me, I'm kneeling now, Lord. I'm kneeling. Lord, help me. That's all she said. And he answered, it's not right. Oh, have mercy on me. To take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. Now, wait a motor scooting minute, okay? Now, first of all, okay, my mama raised me better than that. And she told me, if somebody hit me, somebody finish that for me. Somebody finish. I need somebody.
You better hit them back.
You better hit them back.
Knock their head off their shoulder.
Don't hit them back. I'm trying to say, but you better hit them back.
And if you don't hit them back
until you hit them.
Right, and if you don't hit them back, I'ma hit you.
So right, Michelle Black. I'm glad we was all raised by the same mama. Okay?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can, Adelita. We sure can.
All right.
Okay. Jesus start throwing them hands like you throwing mad shade. You performing for the gram now, Jesus. That's what you doing. Somebody got their phone out and you performing is what Jesus doing. Now watch her response. Okay, watch her response. Yes, Lord, even though you just disrespected me, the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master table. Then Jesus start acting like God. Oh woman, great is your faith. Be it done as you desire. Your daughter is healed instantly. Can we talk? Can we stop being so bougie and come over here and talk? Because I opened this up by saying that Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And y'all was like, yay. But y'all don't agree with that. Stop all that god doggone prosperity fronting. Because you mad as hell right now, and you're mad at God. You're mad you ain't got the man you want. You're mad you ain't got the woman you want, and your rent is behind, and you're tired of struggling, and your car got the transmission light on and the engine light. Some of y'all right now can't afford your tire if it get a blowout. And you gonna sit up here and have the audacity to sit up on this call in public and act like you believe and receive. Get out of here. I've been hood my whole life. And I've been human even longer. Before I was hood, I was human. And I know what it's like to have God be real good to white folk. I wish I had somebody. And hood good to black folk. Yeah, I don't want to play with me. That's all right, because I'm going to keep on going. You understand? I know what it's like to celebrate getting a 39-inch TV while white folks celebrating the $800,000 house. I know what it's like to have two different versions of what God is good is. And why can I not get what they got? Has anybody got a problem with that? Let me talk real. Let me talk real. How many of you been paying tithes your whole life? Yet that person that make $9 an hour. How many of you got pay tithes your whole life? I mean your whole life. And all of a sudden, old girl make $9 an hour in Miami again. Oh, y'all don't want to play with me. That's right. Let me take my whole shoes off.
Come on, bro. Got it again. Because they do it every other week now.
This is her third time in 2 months. Break it
down.
They just left Cancun. Oh, they just left Cancun. Do you understand what I'm saying? This left Cancun. Now, when I'm with a Muslim crowd, if you go look on my page, I do the whole Quran the same way. All right, listen, y'all on this call here, happy to be dominant Christian. I'm gonna put it in your face. God ain't always good in our perception, and that is what Think and Grow Rich is trying to address. I'm not saying that God ain't good, Brother Green. What I'm saying is God had me messed up a few times because my perception had me messed up every time. All right, make a little sense now, don't it, D? Make a little sense. Because I ain't never got what I thought I wanted. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that said, ooh, I'm gonna be retired by 30 and didn't retire at 30? Actually, I retired at 29. But that's not the point. I'm using myself as an example. Okay, I actually retired at 29. So I'm an outlier. How many of y'all said you was gonna be 6 figures by a certain age and you ain't 6 figures by a certain age? Come on, don't lie to me. Okay. Now I gotta piss you off a little bit. I spent 6 figures in January. I spent 6 figures in February. I most certainly spent 6 figures in May for the love of God. And I spent, in April for the love of God and May. There's no doubt about it. I spent more money this year. than I spent more money in the first 6 months this year than a high school teacher will make in 30 years. And somebody ought to be mad at that. Now, truth is,
I'm very upset because that's a lot of zero. Come on now.
yeah, hear what I'm saying? No. We gotta come on. No. We gotta. Grace, Grace, I'll meet your mic. I know we need to talk a little bit. Grace, wouldn't you agree that teachers are heroes?
Yes.
And shouldn't we pay teachers like we pay athletes?
Yes.
How much did you get paid, Grace? Actually, before you say that, you were how many years did you teach math?
11.
God, oof, that made me old. As soon as you said 11, I got gray hair immediately.
I was at the store paying a bill for grandma, and one of my kids that I taught just graduated high school yesterday.
That's so disrespectful. You tell him to slow his ass down. You understand? You just slow down. Okay. You tell him don't grow no more. Okay.
No more.
Don't you wake up another morning.
Okay.
Don't you do that. No more. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Grace, what was your maximum salary a year? By the time you was done.
But by the time I was done, 51.
Grace.
Disrespectful.
What you started off at?
29.
First off, $29 is like, $29,000 a year is something like $14,000, $16 an hour. $51,000 a year is something like $26 an hour. Both of these are disrespectful. I make, to this day, about $26 a minute. Well, I'm not saying it for applause, but I appreciate you. What I'm saying is there was a time God had me all the way beep up. And there's a time now to where I can't outspend myself, even though whatever, right? You understand what I'm saying? So what happened? What was the difference? How did I get from broke preacher? Lord have mercy. I'm so not a preacher, by the way. Broke preacher. No. I mean like broke preacher, Grace. I couldn't even afford $20 to get to a speaking engagement. Broke preacher. How did I go from broke preacher to whatever I am today? Because I decided to think and grow rich. And if you don't hear what I'm saying, you're going to fool around and stay in your situation. Can we talk now? Because you made me walk real hard, Grace. Because I was like, who wants to talk about? Yeah, I was like, God is good. No. God is good if you perceive that God is good. God is good objectively because God is always good because God changeth not. But for most people, God be tripping. And you won't have the fortitude to admit you don't like how God work in your life. If I could just get one person, just one person, I just need. Okay, okay. Then thank you so much. I can't tell you how many times God literally did some stuff in my life, and I was like, bruh, what is you doing? This is not what I said. Am I the only one? I'm the only one. Right? But the truth is, and y'all not fit to like this, I'm gonna repaste it again. I set this up for a whole hour, Grace. Read that, Grace. Read it in the chat. Read it in the chat. Just know, wait, before you read, Grace, what I'm about to say after she reads with artless transition. That means I won't do any charisma. It would be artless. Without art, it would be an ugly transition. I'm going to say what she said differently. and the whole last hour gonna make sense. Go ahead, Grace.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
God will give you whatever your mind can conceive, believe, and achieve. And that part y'all don't like. I say artless transition. Napoleon Hill was correct. What was left out of this statement is you got exactly what you want in your life. And God said it is good. Oh, shucky ducky, quack, quack. This old comedian on BET Comic View used to say that. Oh, shucky ducky. All right. I'm telling you, Stradivari, that everybody listen to me. Everybody listen to me. Everybody listen to me. God is whatever you think God is in finances, and it matches your current bank account statement. I said what I said. Nope. Whatever you think God is as far as finances go, it's in your bank. What you want to do? What you want to? Which one you want to do? I can do Sikh. I can do Torah. I can do Quran. I can do New Testament. I can do them all. God has shown up in your life concerning finances according to what you think God is in the financial department. Oh, I know, D. I know they are mad at me. I know. I know.
How is that even possible? Okay, you sit there, you give and give and give your tithes and offering. I remember one season, I look back at my check stubs, all was there was just my tithes and offering. You know, I mean, and utilities and bills. It was all into the church. Now I done gave. And things still turned upside down. Like crazy. You know, and I'm like, okay, now I believe, trust and believe, I believe. But I'm also seeing all this mess going on, and I'm trying to figure out, well, why, God, would you let me see this mess in this ministry? And at the same time, my income is not where it used to be. So what's up? I'm asking generally, honestly. You know, I'm doing everything. I'm serving. I'm there in ministry. I'm doing my due. You know, I'm doing extra. I'm even babysitting the pastor's kid, and that's not my assignment. So,
got you. I'm about to
explain that to me.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, God.
Do you allow me to answer you in a non-Christian perspective? I prefer to use Sikhism to answer you.
Okay, go ahead. As long as I can understand it.
I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
The best explanation to her answer is in Sikhism. Remember, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I got some stuff memorized. Here we go. Here's the heart of Sikhism. Sikhism has first off, you need to know Sikhism is the fifth most populated religion on the planet. There are 5 Mayas. Maya means thieves. There are 5 of them, okay? 5 of them. Number 1 is ego, anger, greed, attachment, and then lust. Period. Is explanation. Now, here's what Sikhs believe. Everybody listen to me. This is the heart of what Sikhs believe. That you need to reconnect to God. That the darkness of humans have fallen with those 5 thieves I just named. Ego, anger, greed, attachment, and lust. So if you have darkness in your life, Sikhs will say You have an ego somewhere. You have anger somewhere. You have greed somewhere. You have lust somewhere. And you got attachment somewhere. There's a clear difference, Levon, between assignment and attachment. Do you mind if I get in my full gift, Adrian? Because I feel the fire firing on. Okay. So if you don't have the money you used to have, according to this is why I can explain Christianity so well. But other religions make stuff make a little bit more sense sometimes. And you got you got a problem in one of these 5 areas. But don't worry, I'm gonna make it make even more sense. There's a connection between music and oneness, according to Sikhs. They pray 2 hours a day and believe in the remembrance of the name. Wait, before you say something, listen. If you want to kill, somebody, Grace, write this down for me in chat. The 5 Mayas. Let me tell you how Christian Sikhism is. There's 5 Mayas. Number 1.
M-A-Y-A-S?
M-A-Y-A-S. 5 of them. Maya means thieves. I'm going to give all 5 to you, Grace. Ego, anger, greed, lust, attachment. Okay? Now, Sikhs believe if you want to kill the 5, write this down, Grace. If you want to kill the 5 Mayas, there's only one way to do it. Not pray, not go to church, not sacrifice. It's only one way to do it. 5 letters. Serve. Oh, D, I'm coming. Okay. Nope. This is why. Okay, there you go. Because if you just said what you just said, it means you stop serving. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me. I get it. But fruit and harvest is objective. And let me tell y'all something. If you lost what you used to have, it's because you stopped serving like you used to serve. I dare you to say whatever you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say. It's not going to change the fact that a seed becomes a tree, period, point blank. And you, Antonio, lost what you got because you stopped serving. Okay, but this is why, see, it's so hard to do this sometimes with Christianity. It's easy to do it with the Torah. But it's hard to do it with Christianity, okay? Sikhism says in order to kill the 5 things killing you, you better serve people because people are God. And if you stop serving people, God gonna stop serving you. What a word from on high. I'm not even.
Wait. All right, so, okay. Been there, done that. I've served, I've coached, I've interceded, I've done everything, all, and still ended up broke. Explain.
I can dig it. So, watch this here. You ready? No, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Don't stop. No matter how broke you get, no matter how hard it gets, when you go out to eat, I know a 15-year-old girl that started leaving $50 per meal. I kid you not. That got nothing to do with me. Y'all don't want to play with me. That's all right. I am telling you, if you want money, it's because you stopped giving money and money opportunities to the people God have assigned to your life. I know y'all don't agree with me, but it don't stop this from being seed harvest. Think about this, Arshia. Think about it. You say, well, I don't get it. I give all the time. You give all the time as you see it. That don't mean you give. Just because you count yourself righteous, don't mean you righteous. Because all those let me go back to Christianity so y'all can understand me, Shadavari. All those Pharisees that gave all those coins and mites and them little, Grace, you know what I'm talking about. Grace, finish it for me. Who did Jesus say gave the most?
The little woman with her 2 mites.
2 mites. That's all she had. And if you live in this life and ain't giving all you have, God ain't fit to give you all God has, whether you like that or not. Before you disagree, and I know, and by you I mean before y'all disagree, consider this. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Press down. Did I explain that to you? All right,
Stick that thing together and run it over.
this is
Come
what they
on
did.
now.
This is what they did back in the day. This is a basket. And you filled up the basket with wheat because wheat was your primary source of income and your primary food. And wheat has 2 problems. Problem number 1, it has chaff, and chaff is unedible. So you got to throw up the wheat, let the wind blow it, and then let the wheat fall back in the basket. Okay? This is not Christianity, this is Judaism. This is exactly why in Judges chapter 7 that Gideon was wrong and a coward, because Gideon was separating the wheat from the chaff in a wine shelter. Ain't no wind in no wine shelter, Grace. So the wheat couldn't separate from the chaff. So what happens, Levon, is, you ready, Tyranny? Because everything in my elbows is telling me it's you that need to hear this. What happens is they press down the wheat and say, there's some more space in this basket. Put some more wheat in. Oh, shucky ducky. And they put some more wheat in. And then they shook the basket. There's some more wheat in. Press it down again. And some old woman got wise and put her foot on the basket. Let me. I'm gonna take my shoes off. I want y'all to see my bare feet. Because they didn't have no Stacey Adams. I got some Stacey Adams on. They ain't had no Stacey Adams. Okay. They put the little bare feet. Okay. They put the little bare feet and they pressed it down. You understand what I'm saying? They pressed it down and said, it's some more room in there. Then they pressed it down again. There's some more room in there. Then when it got full, they said, I think if you shake it, somebody ought to shout right there. I think if you shake it, that air will fall out, we can get some more in there. Then somebody wise said, well, we done pressed it and we done shook it. But if you lean the basket against your chest a little bit, we can run it over just a little bit. And you can walk like this till you break through. Somebody missed every damn thing I just said. Okay, let's try this again. If you don't understand that your ancestors was trying to tell you how to be blessed by piling on, serving after serving after, I gave you a whole Sikh example and I gave you a Judaism example. If you're not with me, you just choose not to be with me. That's just how it works. Serving after serving after serving shall you be blessed. And according to Sikhism, the only way to get rid of the stuff killing you is to serve. Go ahead, Adelina.
Other words, give so you just can't give no more.
Please tell me one person you know that's doing that that's not blessed. I'll wait. We're not talking about people pleasing because that's not giving. People pleasing is the opposite of giving. People pleasing is to have low self-esteem until you're sacrificing yourself. so people can like you. Ain't nobody gonna like you at 100%. They didn't like Muhammad. They didn't like Buddha. They didn't like Mother Teresa. They didn't like Jesus. They didn't like Martin Luther King. They don't like Walmart. I dare you to Google Walmart right now, and you're going to see bad stuff about Walmart. They don't like your front teeth or your back teeth. They don't like your pinky toe. But I promise you, if you keep serving, you never have to suffer. See, I don't want to say that. I could just relate to Islam and Sikhism very much so. If I had religions, Islam, Sikhism are tied for me. They are. Because it makes sense. Because guess what? Sikhism telling you, don't try to convert nobody. They don't believe in conversion. They believe in respecting whatever Monica believes. They do. They don't even believe in having last names. At least not the males. They don't. So I asked her, Stradivari, I'll answer you if you let me answer you in another religion. Why did I say that? Because y'all know too damn much. And you're clearly what you know ain't working. And my guess is one of y'all knew about Sikhism. D is too kind not to be rich. She got the kindness. She got the humility. That means there's only one logical explanation. She started protecting herself and stopped giving herself. I'll wait. You're more than welcome to respond. Anybody, y'all. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just going to tell you again that according to Sikhism, if you want to kill what's killing you, bend down and put other people on your shoulders. There's a story. 36-year-old mother. White lady. Married 9 years. 1983. Her children are the best children in the world. Oldest boy is 9. Youngest boy is 6. Every night, they go out and go play. When the street lights cut on, Brother Henry, they bring their butt back home. One night, these boys did not come home, Stradivari. Monica, the mother, knew my boys don't act like that. After hours, she called the police. This 1983 when y'all went outside and played. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all don't do that no more. Y'all watch TikTok now. So back in 1983, you went outside and played. You understand? Okay? Called the police. The police filed a report. The next morning, Arshia, the police found them boys. The 6-year-old was covered in sand because they were playing on sand dunes on a construction site. The police hurried to brush away the sand. Finally, the young 6-year-old started breathing. He was at the point of death. Mosquitoes biting his face. The police, Monica, say, "Where is your older brother?" The 6-year-old says, "I'm standing on his shoulders." The 9-year-old brother gave his life so the 6-year-old can stand on his shoulders and breathe. And if you got a religion that ain't preaching that, you ain't got no religion. You got a slave master. Did you hear what I said? Because my only job is to make sure that Brother Henry can stand on my shoulders so he can live. And if you think that you came here for anything else, that's why you ain't got what you want. Because serving others leads to God serving you. It's in every sacred text. And what we do is we get pissed off, don't we? Tyranny. Especially you empaths. Oh, let me get on you empaths for a second. You've been kind your whole life. And all of a sudden, I need some healers in the building. I need some natural healers. Now you done said, I can't take it no more. I'm just talking to Tanya again. If being mean is going to get me respected, then I might as well toughen up. You sure right, Mr. Green. If being mean is going to get me respected, then I might as well be mean because God ain't punishing them for being mean. If you're an empath, do you disagree with that? Let me get some empaths to say something around here. I need some real empaths that say, I'm tired of being used all the time.
I'm tired of being used. I'm at that point.
I'm so tired. Definitely.
I'm
real tired.
I'm tired of being used too, but being used sometimes keeps me humble.
It does. But boy, don't we get tired of doing God's work. Oh, there y'all go again. See? Oh, there you go again. You're just so humble. In 2012, I was at what we call, and there's a 3-day event called something encounter. I put the word encounter in it. Encounter with Ra, something like that, right? The Ra doesn't matter right now, but it's the encounter word. I designed it because I remember going to Lakewood's men's encounter in Spring, Texas in 2012. First off, I just went there, Tyranny, to steal whatever the hell Joel Osteen was doing so I can bring it back to my place. And I ain't lying. Y'all like front. I don't front. I'm real every day of the week. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying. How the hell you got 40,000 members? I'm trying to build 20,000 in Galveston. I keep it all the way 100. I've been like that since 1981. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to steal. Well, Levon, I hated this whole doggone encounter. They call it an encounter straight of art because you're supposed to have an encounter with God. I hated every bit of it because what you did was you got in a small group of 7 men. It was just men. There was a women's encounter and a men's encounter, and they shared their feelings. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth right now. I talk on camera. I talk to 3 people I love, if that. Outside of that, I don't say a damn word. I don't talk. No, I don't talk. If you do, how many Lena, do me a favor, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Lena. How many comments? How long you been here?
I think maybe 6 months now.
And
Maybe.
every time you talk to me, how long these conversations last?
Half an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Uh-huh. Who do most of the talking, you or me?
You.
Because I be teaching you stuff, right?
Yep.
Because you be on that bull. Thank you so much. You can unmute your mic. I appreciate it. If you on that bull, I got to go ahead and handle this out. Stradivari, unmute your mic for me. You's a leader. You don't be on that bull.
Nah.
You send me these text messages. How many times we talked on the phone?
Never actually.
And you lead the whole right side of my organization. Real talk. Real talk. If this man leading the whole...
So what you're saying is I need to do more talking and let you do more listening in order for me to get other places. Okay.
I ain't never had a conversation with this man ever. We text. And when you text me, how many words you get out of me?
It's like maybe like 1 or 2 sentences.
Thank you so much.
If that much.
I show you can mute your mic. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. I don't care a hoot about talking. And listen to me. Listen to me very well. Because there's a strong point here. What I care about is serving. I ain't come here to run my mouth. I came here to take action. And if it ain't action or money, I can't hear you. And if your beliefs is telling me be a slave in heaven, grateful and rich, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I'd rather worship a tree than wait for my master to help me in heaven. Because the Iranian man got his heaven in my neighborhood, and I can only go in there 2 people at a time with no backpack. Y'all ain't trying to hit me in this place. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Check it. Whatever the mind can conceive, it can believe, it can achieve. But you don't think that. Because whatever you think has showed up in your life as riches. And that's not good enough, Levon. It's not. It's not good enough. Y'all hear me? It's not good enough. I don't know what you believe. I just know, Edlina, it shows up in your life as abundance, Tempest. You want to believe that man hurt you, Monica? That's how it's going to show up. Go ahead, Tempest.
Somewhere in this book, it's like in the later half, Napoleon Hill says we pray meaningless prayers with meaningless words. And I think that we think, oh, because I think I want to be rich right now, that's it. But it's what comes after we say those words, or what happens after we think those words. That's what we really get. It's not the words that you get, it's what you feel about the words that you get. So I can talk a good game all day, but if I have low self-esteem and I'm not working towards that, or I'm not trying to get better, then I get my low self-esteem because that's what I really feel about myself. Even though I may say I want the riches or I want the marriage or I want whatever, it's what I feel when I go to bed at night. You know, it's what happens when we're off the call. Because it's great to say it on a call, right? Thursdays is a hot day for ATS. It's great to say, you know, I'm in the right vibration. But what happens when Antonio hits end meeting? What are those words? What are those vibrations? That's what you get, not the front on the call. Is what you think about when you're laying in the bed or when the bills are due and you don't have the money to pay, to pay the bills on time. It's what you feel when that person walks out or when your ego is too loud and you walk out and you pass up on the things that you said that you wanted. You know what I mean? So it's not what I'm talking, it's what I'm feeling, it's what I'm vibrating at, it's what I really truly feel about myself. You can be loud and still be broke because you vibrate at brokenness. You know what I mean? So yeah, I talk a good game, but what do I really feel about myself? What is really in my heart? Right. Not what I say is in my heart.
You know, I agree. You ain't saying nothing that ain't missing me. As a matter of fact, you might be saying it better than me. Because I need y'all to pay attention to what she just said. You're going to hang up this call and go right back to, wow, that was good. But for everybody else.
So I guess what she's saying is, to your own self be true.
It's the only thing you ever gonna get. If you want poverty, that's what you're gonna get. And that's okay. You get to do that. That's okay. God, if I can get, that's all right. I don't have time to even give it to you a different way. God, my friends, is going to give you the desires of your heart. And if you desire to struggle all the time, God gonna give you that. If you just desire to have $343 in your bank account, God gonna give you that. It's not a diss. It's how good God is. God will make sure God show up in your life how you perceive God is. Every sacred text says that. God will do more, Arshia. But if you want God to show up as a divorced husband, okay. So go through it, get divorced, just so you can see God got you through it. I ain't come here for that tyranny. I'm not coming here to have God show up when I'm in pain. That's not my requirement for God, Adrian. God's gonna have to show up when I'm full of faith and when I'm faithless. But it will not only be when I'm faithless. But that's how y'all pray. And that's not for me. Brother Henry?
Just really briefly on the topic, I remember at the Mexic conference, and this is something that, in my school, our children start every day off with a pledge that's all affirmations. The last part of the pledge, I am successful, I am abundant, I am a warrior. At the end, they say, I am a God. And I remember at the Mexic conference, because we brought the students, I had a parent who was going back and forth because she didn't want her daughter to say it. But the explanation that you gave at the Mexic conference, which in my mind was rooted in Think and Grow Rich, which was anything that what you physically have is an extension of what's in your mind. And when the mother heard it, she said, man, I get it. And that for me is the beauty of Think and Grow Rich, is when you understand that point. And I was just reflecting to my wife that we did a conference few years back. We couldn't get nobody to come for $25 a ticket. I said, now we sell tickets for hundreds of dollars and they sell out. So it's because the mind changed. It's the way we perceive what it is that we want, and the gratefulness in our serving. All we do is serve. We get what we put out there. So I just wanted to, I was feeling, I'm in it. I'm ooh, it feels wonderful.
I'm telling you, man. I'm y'all. Let me say this and we out of here. Okay. I told Henry's people, I haven't even told y'all this, so you get to learn this now. I told Henry's people that God is an extension of what you have. So when you have something, that is your view of God. Because I was trying to talk to kids. I wasn't even trying to, you adults, y'all hard-headed. So I can't really talk to you. But I can tell kids that if you got something, that's the extension of what you are. My friends, I don't know how to tell you that you are the author of your faith and the captain of your soul. And ain't nobody gave that to you but you. And God ain't missed you or been bad to you. God has been good to you and only told you yes. God, this is where we end, has never told you no. Never. Neil Donald Walsh says it. Antonio says it. Sacred text says it. If you want it, God gonna say yes. If you don't want it, God gonna say yes. Either way, God is a yes God. So what you have in your life is a bunch of yeses. You just won't admit that your yes is according to the level of your self-esteem. Oh, we gonna have some fun with this 30-something. Y'all gonna stop showing up. You is. I ain't gonna let you make it. All 30-something weeks, I ain't letting you make it. This is my last hoorah. I ain't letting you make it. Go ahead, Tierney. I'm gonna finish my closing thoughts and we are out of her.
So what happens, because I can admit to that, I definitely remember like a couple of years ago, God asking me, or me feeling that God asked me what I wanted, and exactly what I wrote is what I got, with a few changes. So at that time, my vibration was that of my exposure up to that point. So it was definitely a yes, according to what I believed I wanted at that time. So how do I go forward and change the reality, according to like where I'm at? Don't change the reality. Okay, how do I go for it to affect it being a different yes to cancel out that? Because that was not what I wanted where I'm at now.
You messed up again. You were doing good. Different yes. Change, cancel is energy in the wrong place. Because if you try to cancel, you're going to get more than what you need to cancel. You try to change, you get more than what you need to change. Tierney, unmute your mic. Don't worry about your background noise. That'll be all right.
Okay. So to affect them.
No. This is what you do. If you don't want something, stop focusing on it and focus on what you do want. And what you don't want can no longer exist. It will fade away. God made this universe that simple. Let's say you're dating me and I'm trash. And you want to date Brother Henry, even though his wife will put them hands on him. Okay. Now If you want him and only him, you must focus on him and what flows from him and brings to him. But you can't focus on changing me, because only thing you're going to get is more reasons to change me. Release me and focus on him only. Say it a different way, y'all. If you don't like your seeds, why would you put bad seeds in your hand and say, God, don't get seeds change? No. Those seeds don't work for you. Let them go. Pick up the seeds you want and only water those. Do you hear me, Tyranny?
I understand that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a perfect spot to end. Listen, I should have crazy enough keep coming back. I get it. Me too. I'm a knucklehead. Don't worry about it. I've been a knucklehead since 81 too. I'm a knucklehead. So we in here. I'm gonna tie both of them together. God has only said yes to your struggle and only said yes to your breakthrough. You just wanted to say yes to whatever you got. Your current situation is just an accumulation of your yeses. Now, let me help you. It's not that you don't love yourself. It's along the line you start settling. And since the roof didn't start leaking immediately, you let it happen. Since the toilet didn't stop work immediately, you let it happen. It's not that you don't love yourself. It's just that gradually you accept the bull in your life. To the point when that bull, and now nothing in your car works. My friends, final words. We are not settling. We are not hanging with people who want us to settle. We are getting everything we want because we are made in the image of God. And if you're not mad or excited or have some sort of emotional response, it's not time for you to hear this message yet. But if you got an emotional response, God has showed up tonight to talk to you. So I say lastly and again in repetition. Grace put it in chat for me as I say it. We are not settling. We are not stopping. We are refueling. We are going everywhere. Facts have nothing to do with us. My friends, I believe if you said this prayer, because that was a prayer, you will be blessed, Joel Osteen would tell you. And God will show up in your life. And if you find yourself a Bible-based whatever, right? Just act like Joel Osteen. Point is, that is a prayer, if I've ever heard one. We are not settling. We are not stopping. We're refueling, and we are going everywhere. And facts have nothing to do with me. Receive that. Because that's how God wants you to live. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plant better. You can dominate. Come on, y'all unmute your mics. Praise out of here.
Come on, God.
I like that. You better do it. Feeling that.
Yup, this is a journey.
Yes.
You have a great one.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Somebody just asked in the chat. Somebody just asked in the chat, does God allow divorce? One gospel says God does not. One gospel says God does under certain circumstances. So you will have to reconcile that with yourself. Mark and Matthew say two different things. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate you. See you later.